for it. Good to go. All right. I'm just waiting for us to come up here. And I think we're coming up. Hey, I think we're up. Hey, guys. Welcome, everybody. This is Mr. Puddles here. This is Debuffed Gaming News Dispelled, Wildstar Edition. This is a good week to be having this because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And we got a special guest, everybody. So first, we'll go and talk about our normal people here. We have Streeg and Creed with us, Exos for the Dominion and for the Exiles. And we have Anrez. Anrez, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Onrez, also known as the Econ PvPer. I have a website, but mainly I write also for WildstarFans.net, and I'm happy to be here. I love listening to the show, and it's great to be on.
Awesome. It's good to have you. Guys, let's jump right into it because let me tell you, wow, what a week it's been so far, and the week's not even over yet. So let's jump right into it. We have a payment model. All right. So, one thing I like to talk about with the payment model because it's so exciting is, there were some concerns that it would go free to play. And we've talked about this before. And, it kind of makes you kind of worry a little bit, right? Free to play. Oh, what are they going to do? But then you turn around and you look, and all of a sudden they just throw it at you and say, it's not free to play. You got to buy the software, and it's got a monthly subscription, right? So then it just utter chaos. Nobody was ready for that. I believe Creed was the only one who actually had it. He was just like, yes, this is what they're going to do. So I'm going to let you talk first. Creed, what do you think about it?
Oh my goodness, I was so relieved to hear that about the pay model. I was so glad this game is not free to play. We all know it happens to a lot of games that go that route. They're good games. I'm not knocking them, but you know what happens. They do their own thing at first, and then all of a sudden they all trickle the same way. They all trickle down the same road, and so they end up all the same. And this game is not going to be the same. That is so exciting. I am more willing to pay my little $15 a month and have a good game that's going to be moderated well. There's going to be updates. There's going to be fixes when they need to be fixed. There's going to be a better community. That you can't ask for more than that right there.
That's so awesome. I love to hear people get excited about it. So, Streeg, what do you think, man? You good with this?
Oh, I am so good with this one. I've always said these free-to-play games with their cash shops, I wind up spending far more money on these games than the monthly subscription. So, of course, maybe in old school original MMOs where these cash shops and free-to-play were non-existent. Creed, you can pay your $15 a month. Me, I'm getting my yearly subscription paying $10, $11 a month. So it's awesome. And what they're doing with the credit, being able to actually get in-game gold and buy your subscription fee using that method, I think just really opens up the door for some really, really good things. I'm very excited. I hate cash shops, personally.
So it's interesting because, the day the news breaks, I don't even think I'm really out of the bed yet. And the first person I see Anrez, like he put something on there, and I'm like, uh-oh, something good must be going on. So Anrez, I know you and I have kind of gone back and forth about it. So give me your take on this.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a fan of it. I'm committed. I'm all in. I'm all in Wildstar for it. That's the game I want to play, and we're all passionate about it. So I don't see the subscription model sneaking up on us. My biggest thing is that when people talk about cred and how it, is it pay to win? I disagree. Gold is power. Now I'll say that gold is power. So could it be pay for a little bit of power? Maybe, but that's different than win. I could be the richest character in the guild. In the game. But I can't go to a 40-man raid by myself. I got to beg Grievance to drag me along, right? I can't run a 40-man war plot by myself and capture a raid boss and put it in there and run it by myself just because I've got 5 zeros after my name. So I can be rich and have a little, and have a little easier playtime so I don't have to worry about repairs, and my house is larger than Creed's house, whatever. But big deal. That's not winning. You know what I mean? Wildstar is a complicated game. I'm not winning by being rich. So that's the first thing when I talk about people with the cred. Second of all, the cred market is not going to be for the faint of heart. You know what I mean? It's $5 more to get a month of playtime, right? So you go into the cred market to get gold. You come out of the cred market to dump it into the game, and the market will bear. You know what I mean? So the people who play the cred house, that's not for the faint of heart. I mean, these people are going to be metagamers in their own right. They're going to be like true PvPers that are trying to play the system. You're going to see a much higher percentage of the people who are either A, subscribers, like the people talking up here above me, or two, are people who have the free time and play in-game and buy time with gold. There's not going to be people buying cred and then using that cred to play. That's just stupid. Just, like I said, pay the $15 a month and you get to play for a month. So I think it brings in a little bit of nuance of it. I think it brings a huge sink to keep lethality. You guys all familiar with lethality? He's the ZAM's social media director. He had a really good thing. He goes, finally, in-game gold is going to mean something. So I can't even imagine. I watched some of your guys' feeds. You guys are serious players. I don't even want to know how much gold you guys got laying around your characters, right? Once you reach a certain level of, say, in Warcraft, whether it's 4 zeros or 5 zeros, who gives a flip, right? It's like if you wanted to try to spend it all, it would take too long to spend. But with Wildstar, if you're like, hey, you know what, this month? Screw it, I'm going to go up and I'm going to float myself a free month. I'm going to pay myself $15 because I can. Because I'm an in-game raider, I'm a war plotter, I work with Team Grievance, I've accumulated well, I can either sit on this gold, or I can actually have in-game gold mean something. And then the last thing, and I'll turn it back over, it's like, when I think of your guys' guild, and I think of guild leaders like the guys above me, the guild generates money, right? So could the guild buy a cred and say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to MVP every month, and the person that stands up and shows me something, who's here for the raids, who's gathering the materials, who's out recruiting and doing the right things for us, the guild's going to float that person a month subscription. Oh my God, the power of that. So, and again, that just makes a strong community, which, again, your comments about free to play, you don't generate that sense of community in the concept of people that can bungee in and bungee out of the game whenever, today's the month of January. Today I feel like this. It's a commitment game, but then the guild can then commit to its players, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's all good points, and I know we talked about it a lot, and I know everybody feels different. One thing I was interested in was, of course, I'm the guy who gets the self-inflicted wound here. I go to different networking sites, and it's just like, hey, I wonder what people feel about this. 80% of the people is, it's not a free-to-play game, it's going to stink, and then you got the other percent, right? The guys who are like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen, and I'm so excited about that. I love just talking about it. We could have like a 5-hour conversation about it every time. Every time we keep talking about it, I just keep saying we could just go on and on and on. But let's skip a little bit past that because there's so much news to get to. So let's talk about something that I find very interesting. When they put out that the payment model, you notice at the bottom they kind of snuck in the fact that they have a release window, right? So spring 2014. Kind of disheartened because a lot of people were like, "Oh, I really wanted the game this year," but they already kind of told us, weeks prior, "Hey, look, we got some stuff that we need to fix." By the way, we're going to be doing it. We're going to stop some of our beta activity, So, of course, people were like, that's it. It's over. We're not getting it till the end of next year. The sky is falling. And, of course, I think I said it best was with all that news, they got to give us something beefy. So, all of a sudden, we got the payment model released. We got the, hey, look, we're pretty, I heard a couple people say they're pretty firm on the spring 2014. Close enough for me, but the thing that interests me, more about that is as more information was coming out during the week, not only were they like really hinting towards maybe that's true, but everything they were saying was starting to line up with, like, you'd hear beta January, end of year testing. You'd start hearing these things, and everything started to line up, so it wasn't like they were just shooting out in the dark, like I have no idea what's going on. They actually start dropping these little things. So, and as we all are huge Wildstar fans, we're just listening to this, and we're just listening to these little keys. So my big key here was spring 2014. It's been hammered maybe 30 times throughout this whole week. So, and I know we talk about it a lot, but Streak, what do you think, man? 2014, I know you have nothing to play until then, but good news, right?
It is. I was kind of hoping, with the changes that they were making, it might push it back to February. Spring's a couple months beyond that, so it's a little bit longer than what I was hoping for, but I think we're all in agreement. They've got to have. We want the good release. We want things to be polished. We want things done right. And if this is what it takes, then hey, I'm all for it. I was listening to all the interviews that they've had last week and I got to say, when I hear things like one of the devs was talking, saying that that they don't do any kind of optimization whatsoever while they're developing these games because they want to make sure the game's good, and then finishes it up with, oh, by the way, we're optimizing now. So it's a good sign. It's a good sign. I think they're well on their way. I think things are going very smoothly for them. A little bit longer delay than what I want, but I'll survive. So,
Andres, what do you think? You think that's firm? I know I've kind of been trying to get some of our friends at Carbine to kind of bite on that. Nobody's bought on it yet. What do you think?
They've been so careful on biting and things. And here's the thing. Of course, are we disappointed? Do I want a perfect game tomorrow? Yeah, I've been throwing money at the screen for a while, and nothing's happened yet. So I won't change that model. But my concern, and again, it's more of a concern from a business standpoint, not from a gaming standpoint. I am with you guys from a gaming standpoint. I want my best possible game. This is where I've decided to spend my effort. Would I prefer that from a company and a business model standpoint, they launch when no one else is around? Well, that makes sense. Do you want to put up your coffee shop across from the other coffee shop, or do you want to be the only coffee shop on the corner? You know what I mean? So launching in spring brings some nuances related to other launches and other, instead of big news, now there's big news from multiple games going on at the same time. Do I think Wildstar has the legs for it? I do. I really do. But again, from a business standpoint, if Carbine makes money and does well, our game does well, and it's a longer, play time for us. So, of course, I want them to do well, and, of course, I believe they would do well if you could launch when no one else is around you. But we can't have that. So what's next? Well, the next thing is to launch a game so solid and so well-tested and, well-designed that when compared to the other game that's launching at the same time, people are like going, well, I could either have the generic brand or I can go with this name brand, and I think I'll go with the name brand. You know what I mean? So I'm like you guys. I want the best possible game to play. So, but I can't imagine unless you, I don't know, practically waterboarded Scooter. I don't think you'd get a date. I just don't see them. They're really careful on it for good reason.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. Yeah, I borderline am annoying with some of them just because I'm like, so hey, how about the release date? And they just kind of like, yeah, all right, there's that guy again. Somebody block him. So Streeg, I know we've kind of talked about this. I think you're good with it. One thing I'll mention here is the big news also is that ESO is going pay model and subscription. So and that's supposed to be releasing, I believe, same time. Streeg, what do you think?
Last I heard, ESO was shooting for June, which is more of a summer release. So I think that's a couple months behind us. So I think we're okay there. And to be honest with you, ESO's already come out and said they're not planning any end game raiding content. So they're almost in like a totally different. It's apple to oranges. We're looking at a different demographic here. I don't think it's going to be any issue I'm worried about whatsoever with ESO.
So Creed, I mean, I know now that these two are doing this, are going to be released maybe near the same time. I guess you're going to be playing ESO, right?
Oh, no, I'm not. No ESO here. I am fine with the spring release. I understand that they're going to, there's going to be other games popping up here and there. I'm not worried about other games. I'm not even looking at other games. I'm so fixed on this game right here. This is the one that's going to be the biggest, and I think the other guys they stole my whole speech. Everything I wanted to say. So,
yes.
What these guys said right here, as far as it is a standpoint of business versus how good the game is and all this other stuff. I'm not a kind of person that really gets into all this. I know because of the way they're dealing with this, and the way they say, this game was pretty well put. It looks good. Well, wait a minute. No, that doesn't look very good. So they didn't waste any time bumping this game back. And who knows? And I hate to say this, but it could happen again. They could run into something else and move it back a little bit farther, and maybe move it behind. Let ESO launch and do their big thing, their big hype, and get it out of the way, and then let Wildstar launch. Who knows? And of course, like I said, I don't care. Wildstar is going to be the biggest launch that it's going to happen. That's just bottom line.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting. So let's skip to that and let's go to what I consider one of the best DevSpeak videos that they have put out.
Soon. Awesome.
It's so awesome. So crowd control. Let's talk about crowd control. Besides the fact that the video was absolutely awesome, and if you guys haven't looked at the cliffhanger of the disclaimer, please go out there and look at that because that's really funny. So as a Granok player, I'm not sure what I said, but it's going to be funny. So let's go right into it. And I just have to say, if I lose my weapon, I would like the ability to go and get it. I'd like to say, hey, look, somebody took my weapon. Watching it fly out of my hand somewhere to me is so exciting. Yeah. So sure, and you know what? There may be AOE there, but I got to go get it at some point, right? So it's really just changing the game so much from what some of the older, I'd say older, maybe some of the MMOs that we're used to. Also think about some of the things they're talking about with being disoriented.
Blindness.
Blindness.
The mechanic. Oh God, that made me giggle.
The blind one was so awesome because I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, you can kind of see something, so I find myself squinting. What is he doing? And then all of a sudden he goes, you heal the tree. And I'm like, oh, that is so cool. Yeah, so that was so filled with such goodness. Like, I want you to know, I watched it maybe 10 times. I had to wipe tears from my eyes a couple times because I was just like, that's so awesome to me. And I know that as a group, we've kind of watched it over and over again. So, Creed, what do you think, man? The new age here, what do you think?
I think that we're all going to have very sore fingers because we're going to be so keyboard busy trying to do this crowd control thing. Look at what we're trying to fight and move out of the way of stuff that's being thrown back at us. It's going to be incredible. It's no more of this sitting here and tapping one button. Oh, there's another button. It's not going to be any more of that. It's going to be a busy game. I'm going to be a busy person behind this keyboard. We're all going to be busy people behind our keyboards. That's exciting.
Well, the one thing that excites me about it is, I'm nimble. Right? Hey, look at all this stuff I'm gonna be doing because I can see myself now. I got one of these, multi-button mice. I'm so excited about it. But I play MMO and I'm hitting one button.
It's
And so
ridiculous.
now I find myself saying, what's next? So now I see, hey, look at all these buttons. Look, I can program something. Look, I can do this. Oh, look, I can put this. Oh, it's so exciting. And I know I can just go on and on about it. But Streak, what do you think, man? You gonna be pounding that F key?
I gotta say, just to begin with, Frost, man, his voice and his attitude and personality are just perfect for these DevSpeak videos, man. These things are just a riot to watch, and I mean, you can't help but to laugh when they had the little Chua fall in the lava, man. It was classic. I loved it. But I gotta say, this is something we've kind of talked about before with Wildstar. Instead of going the route that a lot of MMOs have with trying to reinvent the wheel, Wildstar has kind of gone out there over the last 15 years, found all the MMOs out there, found what works in them, brought in the good things, got rid of the bad things, and then they throw these extra little things in there that make it unique and different. It's just wonderful. I mean, the little anchors there that drop down and the little rope that ties to the guy to hold him still. I mean, these types of things are just that little extra something that's just it's fantastic. I love watching these videos.
Yeah, just these. It's so awesome. I just after this is over, I'm going to watch it again. I mean, it's just because you just can't get it's just so awesome. And yeah, I have to admit, man, Frost's voice is actually really really good. So
Yeah, it is.
when at the end of the day, there's. I don't know if there's a lot of bosses that we've ever encountered that we can actually interrupt / stun / crowd control. Some of the stuff that they did in there, like when they're in there, and I forgot the thing with the big tusk on it, right? And they knock them down.
Garbage horse bull.
That's right. The garbage horse bull. That's right.
The guy from IGN, so wittily named it.
Yes.
So and that will become Wildstar lore. So you heard it here first, guys. That's what's going to be called. So when you
confirm,
yeah, confirm that. So yeah, so when you wipe on the garbage boss there, yeah, that's it. But Honors, what do you think? I mean, does this with raids, thinking about 20 and 40 man raids and crowd control and things like this? We know this isn't our typical MMO. This is more action oriented and things like that. But do you think that this, with everything being able to, you get, obviously crowd controlled and you crowd controlling other things, do you think this adds more complexity than it's worth, or do you think that this is exactly where we need to be?
I'll come out and say it. I'm a 7.5%er. I'm not a 1% raider. So, but I've raided a lot. I just suck at it. So I don't envy some of the raid bosses here, because with interrupt armor, here's a good point. If you know that boss is going to drop those tether anchors on everybody and then say someone's a bomb, then then you need to coordinate everyone who has their open stuns, because let's say he has like 3 interrupt armor. That means you need 4 stuns to stop him from dropping those tether anchors. So the coordination of the raid bosses and the teams to, again, avoid the red, enjoy the blue on the ground, time your stuns or whatever to finally interrupt the bad guy from then crowd controlling your team. Oh yeah, that's phase 1. Oh my God. I mean, the concept of one, and then you hear the concept of, oh yeah, but then we're going to change the mechanics every now and then of the week. So, yeah, you got that last week. You got to phase 2. Congratulations. Oh, phase 1's completely different this week. You guys are so screwed. So, I mean, I think the concept is, I believe there was a psychological study done on gamers, and the concept of the gamer mechanic, where they make something difficult, give them the feeling that they've achieved something, and make it slightly harder to achieve the next thing. I can't think of anything else that outlines how this rating is going to be, right? I mean, It's difficult. The bosses are going to get more difficult. You've already got 40 people dancing around in a circle. And the raids could possibly change based on random picks each week. You're going to have the right people doing the right thing at the right time, and you're going to have to be able to do it consistently. And I think you're going to see a segmentation of good raids versus great raids. And the people who are out making the YouTube videos showing great raids, they're going to get the 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 views in the first day. And then that's going to bring more people into this game. Because after a certain point, if you can 5-man a 20-man in WoW, and you're still like Puddle said, you're hitting 1 or 2 buttons, are you really raiding? You're not really raiding. You know what I mean? You're just playing. You're just kind of playing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like playing poker for M&Ms. Yeah, it's the same game, but really, what are you risking and what are you gaining?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So
true. I think it's going to bring a lot to the table, and I think guilds like yourselves are going to have to work on it. I think it's going to test the patience and the wherewithal and the strength of the group. But when you accomplish something, that video is going to be rocking awesome, and you guys are going to put it up there, and people are going to cheer you for it. Like back in the old days when you brought Onyxia's head in and you hung it up on the gate, and the city stopped for you. Because you were something special. And we haven't felt that or done that in a really long time, and I'm hoping that's what we get here.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's, this is probably, and I've played a lot of MMOs, this is probably one of the only games where, just because of all the stuff that you're actually having to deal with, I'm actually really excited because I'm saying we are going to do something. When we kill a boss, when we finish a raid, whatever, we have completed something. We didn't just hit 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No, we didn't do that. No, we dodged stuff. And by the way, it's great you did it week 1. You got to turn around and do it week 2 because it's going to be totally different.
Right.
And the more you talk about it, the more I keep thinking, you're going to have raid leaders and task leaders and everything, but I can see them inside of our own little groups. I can see somebody sitting there going, yeah, Bravo team, this is raid leader. We're going to need stuns on the boss in 3, 2, 1.
Absolutely. And it's going to be its own metagame managing your team's resources instead of saying, "Oh wait, throw down your tranquilizing shot, all 7 of my hunters." Back in the day when the puppy's getting large, shoot it. That's not mechanics like we're going to see here. These guys are going to be dancing, bobbing, and weaving, and then you're going to ask more of them, and then they're going to have to do it, or you're going to do it over again. And I'm excited to see the videos of it, and I'm excited to eventually be rich enough to then pay guilds to take me through it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because, that's it. It's like, hey, it's time for me to go on Wildstar Boss Safari. So here's enough to buy 3 cred for your guild this month. Take me through all the 40-man stuff. I'll sit in the back and just screenshot stuff. That's what I'm looking to do.
Yeah. So when that photographer / Vine opening comes up, we'll let you know.
You bet. Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, right? We had all this information that was put out, and yeah, I was happy with it. I was basically like, all right, this is all we needed. Let me sit back, relax, write some notes about what we're going to talk about. And then the weirdest thing happened. I was looking at a picture, and funny, the picture showed all sorts of classes, but there was something that was in that picture that didn't exactly fit. It's like, you remember those highlight books, right? When it's like, hey, how is this picture different than this one? And I looked and I said, well, I know what class that is, and I know what class those are. But what's that in the middle? Did anybody else catch that?
It's like the Sesame Street song, one of these things are not like the other. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So exactly. Like the things on the screen like going, wait, whoa. I just like going, hey, gorgeous, what's your name? Why don't you tell me a little about yourself? Yeah. It's great to hear.
I was looking at it and I said, that's weird. what is that in its hand? Wait, what's that in both of its hands? And then I stopped and said, I must be dreaming. And then, like, finally, somebody, I can't remember who it was, but some random person, and they were like, I'm like, thank goodness I'm not the only one who saw that. So maybe that's going to be some interesting information as be released sooner than later. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, PAX is coming. I mean, Gamescom. I feel like we gave us a Wildstar Monday, for Christ's sakes. Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. They're gonna start our heart rate racing at 6 a.m. my time, and it's been all busy all since. Videos and Frost's the dev speak. If we didn't have the payment model, it still would have been a great Wednesday with the movement and the crowd control, and then him giving us his own video commentary on his own video. That would have been a great release week. But when you throw out the stuff that Pappy did on the 20-man, Gaffney's double housing and then all that stuff, it's got to be one of the leakiest or releasiest weeks I've seen. And if that's what we get for Gamescom, I'm only hoping PAX is the same. And I'm hoping that people are going to finally share their experiences playing Chua and playing Mordesh, because those were the playable classes in different locations. And they can start sharing their videos and their thoughts as soon as they all get, unhung over from drinking with the carbine staff.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. It's a good time. I kept saying to myself that I wasn't going to totally hype this up, but yeah, I'm pretty hyped up right now. So it's definitely a good time. The one thing I would say is, when they were going through the instance, right, the dungeon video, I kept looking at it, and I'd stop and I'd say, nah, that doesn't look good. And then I'd be like, I'm just joking, it looks awesome. And then I'd say, well, but what about this? And then all of a sudden I'd see something. And then, like, the boss with the big hammer, right? It's not like, oh, look, here's a boss, I'm standing here, and then all of a sudden he pulls out of nowhere, who knows, maybe like from his back, here's his big hammer. No, he's standing there with the hammer on his back, just waiting. He's just waiting for you. So please come fight me. I have a big space hammer. So, Streak, big space hammer, you game for that?
I'm game for anything. I like the end there where he jumps up and smashes that big egg thing and out drops the dragon. I mean, that was awesome. Yeah. And the crowd control video there that Frost did, where the guy with the big hammer bonks the chick in the head.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I could use one of them.
What's interesting about that video? I don't know if you guys noticed it. And I'm just weird, but I noticed that when he did that. Did you notice that the character's knees were wobbling?
I did.
Did you notice that?
Oh.
And I was just looking, and I was like, that's weird, because if I got hit on the head, that's probably exactly what I would do. Yeah, so it's all good stuff. It's exciting. Next week is PAX. Big weekend. And Andres, you're going to be there.
I am. I'm fortunate enough to be there. There's a Saturday night party at the Hard Rock that's actually outside the conference, so people can go. It's first come first seating. So I'm thinking of going and having breakfast there, maybe just to make sure I get in. But they're gonna set up laptops. The staff's there. It's a Curse party, so the team from Curse, so there's great mod people to talk to. And then the Curse Carbine, Carbine staff will be there, and they'll have some gameplay. The trouble is that I'm a fan of all games. I like a good game, and so it's hard to choose one party to go to when all the parties are on the same night. But then it's like, well, how could I not go? Because it's the game I want to follow. You've got access to people that are going to be there, and it's one of those few times where if you can play the game, you're not underneath NDA, and then I can come and say, I played the Chua, and he was a crazy son of a bitch, and it was awesome. You know what I mean? So if you get to play at one of these events, you get content, you can talk to people about it, unlike if you go to like an ARC ship, or if you're one of those selected people for closed beta or whatever, where you you get the knowledge yourself, but you can't share it with people. So it's like anytime we can get a chance to play so we can all share it with everybody, I'm like, go, get in line, get a chance to play. So
I am jealous. Very jealous.
So one of the interesting things that, and I'm very, very lucky here, was about 8 months ago, I think my wife said, "Hey, let's go on vacation." And I was like, "Great, where are we going?" She goes, "Oh, we're going out to Seattle area to go watch a concert." And I was like, "Oh, all right, that sounds interesting." Go figure, it's next weekend. And guess who's going to try to make their way, maybe having breakfast, like you said. Guess who's going to be there? That's right. I'm going next Saturday. Yeah. If I have to sleep outside the place, I will be there. Yeah. I will try to take as many pictures, video. I'm going to meet up with my new friend here.
I will grab the Vine machine, and we will get a Vine with you, like, standing next to Pappy. Or maybe, they had that Granok with the big gun that Gazimov had a picture of him stealing the gun from. I'm like, that's a puddle moment right there. I'm thinking you with that like 4.5 foot long gun. I'm like going, that just smells Vine.
That's right? Awesome. I think I'll be okay after I pass out. Right, the first of oh my God, I'm here, and then have my moment.
Got the vapors. Have a moment, right. And then you're good.
And then we're good. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so yes, next week, everybody, I will be gone. I will be there. So expect lots of Twitter updates from me. I will try to grab as much swag as I can for some of our guild leaders, maybe some of our exos who help out on the podcast. So.
Like a crazed Chua in Radio Shack, you need to run around that thing and just start stuffing shirts of any size. Because, again, if you steal 4 smalls, there's some sucker that stole 4 extra larges. You can always trade online.
Awesome. That's exactly what I was thinking.
You just need the shirts.
I want you guys to do while you're over there is, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but I think it was EverQuest 2, if I remember correctly. When they first released, they had come out with a little disc that you could just sit there and create your character on, and you couldn't go into the game, you couldn't play, you could just create your character. Yeah. These games come out. Yeah, that would be awesome because when the game comes out, you're like, oh, I don't want to mess with the sliders because I just want to get in the game and play. It would be great to just spend hours and hours making your character, and then when it goes live, you can just transfer them in.
I would love to see something like that with a CE purchase or a box purchase or something that allows you, A, to pre-made your character so the slider settings are done, B, lock in your name or whatever ahead of time, and then C, this is a question, I'm sorry, I don't know how long you guys run, but I'm really dying to ask you guys from the concept of what other guild or prep stuff would you guys like to see pre-launch? So I talked a little bit with Late Night Dominion on this too. It's like, there are a couple of games where, hey, I have a guild A, and our fun rival is guild B, right? We like poking fun at them, and we look forward to kicking their ass and war plots, but I can't really do that easily, or arenas or BGs. I can't do that as easily if I'm not on the same server, right? So how do you make sure, or would you guys like to see the ability for seeding of what servers you're on for rivals and guilds that you're friends? Because, again, my concept is 40-man raids are tough. 40-man war plots are tough. If you're a guild that's got 30 people, maybe 50 people, wouldn't it be nice if you knew you had a friend guild here that maybe they're not as big as you, but they're made of good players? They'd be great if they were on the same server as you. How do you make, is there a way to make sure we all get a land with those people who are our friends and against our people who are our rivals? Because that builds community. You know what I mean? You get instant day one, I got to bust my ass and get geared up because I got to warp a lot of people killed here. And so I kind of like, just like you said, the concept of what can we do or what we can ask pre-launch that still keeps us engaged as a community and allows our players to start doing stuff. Does that make sense?
Good
Yeah,
point.
that's a good point. One thing that I keep going back to, and it's I think almost every MMO until it's ever actually said, it's when you deal with a bigger community. The first thing you say to yourself is, "What's your cap?" Right? Because if you're sitting here and your cap is 20 players, we're gonna blow that away. I mean, or even better, if you can't have a guild at level 1, get in, immediately make your guild. That's all. That's all well and good, but it's got to be somewhat soon, because if not, I don't want players going through 15, 20 levels of just being just utterly unorganized. Other than I'm not talking just in game, because we know there is the community of players who don't get on TeamSpeak and Ventrilo and all those things. They use they just use what they have. So basically, everything that's online. So I'm totally cool with that. But it's nice to know ahead of time. So you could go ahead and have the post and say, okay, guys, we know it will take X amount of time to get the guild up. We know that it will take X amount of time when we get the guild up to get it so that you can have X amount of members. It also helps you, and I'm really, really geared towards recruitment just because that's the way my head goes. It makes you think about how you recruit people. I'm not going to go out there and recruit 1,000 people. Well, I am. But, I don't want to recruit 1,000 people knowing that, oh, by the way, when the guild starts and max level, you can only have 200 people. I'm not going to have 5 different guilds, plus having both a Dominion side and an Exile side. So it's just good. It's just good things to know. You also mentioned, and I kind of liked. Guild Wars 2 had those posts where it was like, "Hey, here you go. Here's our server. Here's the guild list of all the people who have already set up their guilds prior to the game going live."
Right.
It's always good to know, because yes, we're not the most competitive, hey, we're here to just blow you out of the water guild. But it's nice to know who's there, who's on the other side. You turn a corner, you may see somebody that you absolutely hate, but it's nice to know that that's there before you even start. And I know, Creed and I talked about this a little bit. Creed, what do you think? Am I on the right track here?
Man, you guys have just totally lost me in all your. I'm just I'm just waiting on my turn. I'm like, okay, it's my turn. Oh God, it's my turn again. Okay, it's my turn. Is it my turn? Okay, here we go. Puddles, you said it again. You hit something right on the head. It's all about communication. Communication can only be done as far as before a game is released. Is some kind of website. Everyone goes to this website. Right there, everything's posted. Everyone posts what guild they're in, what server they're going on, maybe some subforums are talking about what the type of guild they're going to be. And so we all go down through there and we're saying, we know this guild. We know who these people are. That's where we're going to go, or that's what we're going to do. Oh, wait a minute. Now you guys need to come over here. So, and this stuff just it's just going to go back and forth. And this is something they need to do as soon as possible. Let's get everyone situated where they want to go. So when this game releases, everyone's going to know exactly where to go. They're going to know they're going to go to point A and get this done. They're going to go to point B and get this done. And it's going to be synced up. Right now I don't see no place like that unless you guys know where to go. I'd like to be able to go somewhere like that and say, yeah, grievance is going to be right here. Oh, and I know who this guild is, and they're going to be on the same server. That is so cool. Oh, look at these guys. They're on the Exiles. Well, yeah, well, what Rez said, we're going to kick these guys' ass. And so it's so cool. Let's get some kind of a big community site up. Let's see where everybody sits. Let's see where everybody is. So I know what the deal is when that game login button lights up and I can click it and get in there.
And a good point to that, and I think we're all kind of hitting around it, is, the one thing, we're talking about rating, and, maybe there are a close, group of friends, and, hey, look, we just happen to be, a bunch of guys from college, and we're playing this game, we really like it, but we really want to get into rating, because we already know there's no looking for raid, right? So the best thing about this is they can go out there and like, hey, look, it's a group of 10 guys we're, dedicated to playing, right? if I'm a guy and I have, 20 some people and I'm thinking about, hey, maybe we can make a 40-man raid. We can form some kind of alliance and be like, hey, guys, when you guys are ready, you are always welcome here. And you can kind of start that, and that's what builds such strong gaming communities, right? And it seems like such a small thing. And I think, it's a website, right? Wow. But you're forging relationships when, in theory, they cannot be there. You can be void of it and say everybody just figures out what they want to do, or you can really embrace it and say, hey, let's take the opportunity to get like people alike, and there you go. I just think it's a good idea. I think we all kind of hit around it. Andres, what do you think, man? You think that's kind of a good thing to go, or?
I want to learn more about circles, right? We've all heard about all the things. So to kind of pivot off your point, and I was going to throw up to both Creed and Strig, is that if you're in your guys' mind, you've got your 40-man team, right? You've got the A team, but you've got overflow because hopefully your guilds are successful. Do you see you guys leveraging, let's call it a alt raid circle of other guilds, people that you guys have dungeoned with or PvP'd with and found that they are smart? They know their biz. They know their characters. You get them into a circle so they're still easy to communicate with. Maybe they're not ready to be or willing to be recruited into the guild. That's fine. But at least you have a good pond to fish from in case of some odd night. And so I'm really interested to understanding the mechanics of circles, how strong are the connections, how easy they are to communicate with. And we heard something about rivals, and we heard something about friends. We don't know much about the friends list. We don't know much about the rivals list either. So when I think of all these things, characters, races, and all, we've got the races out. We don't have all the classes out. We don't know anything about crafting. Hell, there's a lot of social mechanics. There's an awful lot of raid mechanics we know nothing about. But I was just curious in your guys' thoughts, from what you've heard about circles, do you think those are impactful from just social, or do you think they're going to have raiding impact?
I personally think it's all the above. I think it's the ability to cast a wide net, so to speak. Invite somebody in, have a circle. I'm a big guy of thinking. Hey, look, I'm going to go run an instance, and hey, let's get some people together. And you may leave one spot open. Maybe find a pug. Maybe find somebody out there. You never know the relationships that you're going to make in a game, especially with, you're out in the area, you heal somebody, and that person's like, hey, I see a lot of you guys running around. I'd like to join you, but I'm not exactly sure if I'd fit in. Hey, look, here's a circle. You can come in here and see the kind of stuff we're doing, and as like people do it, you can be like, hey, look, here you go. You can join in with these guys. Streak, what do you think, man? It's a good idea?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think kind of like what you hit on, we don't really have a lot of information on it.
Right.
I would have to say, first and foremost, I'd have to find out how big a circle could be.
Right.
If it could be big enough, absolutely. I mean, you could have almost like you could have a Grimmins guild, you could have this guild, and you can kind of pool everybody in together as one of these circles, as kind of like a server alliance type thing. I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I'm not sure how big that can be. So
yeah,
That's another thing. Along with these circles, depending on how big they are, and Streak hit it right on the money. Maybe add some kind of little mechanic in that circle where you can find somebody with a rank in there, a diplomat, somebody who can actually communicate. You've got your people that communicate between each guild. Hey, we need to pull some of these people over here. Or, hey, this guild's a little shy. Let's get these guys over here. Maybe just, I don't know. That just all of a sudden just came to mind when you're looking at whatever UI we're going to be looking at. Whatever we're looking at. Okay, yeah, this is the guy I need to contact. That type of thing.
It's definitely interesting. It's a lot of unknowns, right? But the good part about it is the devs are listening. So
that they are.
Yes. So guys, it's good stuff, right? And next week we're going to have some more good information, probably. Be a good time to do it. I'll be there. Hint, hint. I just want to thank you guys again for coming on. It's always fun. Andres, it's been amazing, man. You're awesome.
I love the show. Thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're definitely going to try to get you back on if our schedules and stuff get together.
You bet. And I tell you, the crafting and professions, who knows when that's going to drop? I mean, we've got so much more to learn, and I think to myself, I'm excited about the game right now, and how much of the game do I really know about? That's the spooky thing, is that I'm excited about the game, I'm committed, and I spend this time and effort on this game. We all do, but we still don't know very much about in the big picture of this game. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff about this game we don't know yet. I mean, look at all the past games that you've played and everything that was thrown at you. There were so many things in those games to do. How much do you know about Wildstar right now? What, about this much? And all the rest of the stuff they're still keeping a tight lid on. So I'm glad how they're kind of regulating the amount of information they're putting out there. Surprise us next week. Surprise us a month from now. And it's always going to be big because when we see it, we're going to like, oh my gosh, we're just going to go ballistic. Exciting. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's very exciting stuff. Again, it's we don't know a lot. I mean, we know a lot. We don't know everything. But it's exciting. It's always exciting. It's going to be even more exciting as they start releasing more information. And shameless plug here. You need some beta testers. I know where you can find about 100 of them.
Nice. Subtle.
Swag.
I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that as a push at all. I felt like it was almost like a PSA.
That's why they put me here. All right, guys. Again, thank you very much for everything. It's always good talking to everybody. And again, everybody, thanks for watching. We are going to be on Sunday like normal time. Next week, we'll have our Wildstar Thursday on Thursday, and hopefully we'll have lots to talk about. I would like to thank Andres again. Thank you very much, Creed Streak, and for everybody who couldn't be here. Thank you very much. Your everything that you do is appreciated. We had a lot of people actually tonight watching and typing and chatting. So
nice.
I believe our friend John even made it. So John, thank you very much for watching.
Hey, look, his name is Little John. Little John, the Black Rouse Tower. Yes.
So, Zelvis and all those guys, thank you guys. It's always nice to see you guys show up here, and we will see you guys next week. Everybody have a good one.